Consider this one to be official.
And a warning that the following program contains frank and at times explicit discussion of sexual issues, and parents of teenage children may well prefer to leave the room so that the children can watch it on their own. Welcome to our serious and mature discussion about sex, called Talking Head. But tonight there's a slightly different flavour to the show, as due to an error in our programme scheduling, we will also have the added bonus of bringing you coverage of today's local by-election taking place down in Thodding. A by-election we expect to be dominated by issues such as unemployment, housing, the Sunday trading bill, and the problems caused by the relocation of the local bauxite factory from the industrial estate to the Greenbelt area. So, a healthy mixture of sex and politics coming up, but for the moment, it's sex. So let's meet tonight's guests on Talking Head. Firstly, Mr. X, who is here today in disguise because he is ashamed of his sexual practices, isn't that right?
No, I'm the Liberal Democratic spokesman for the environment.
I'm terribly sorry. Wrong beard. Yes. We will be talking about the by-election in a minute, so do stay with us. Over here, then, we have Mr. X, who has come in disguise, yes?
Yeah.
Good. Now, Mr. X isn't your real name, of course, is it?
No, it's Mark Austin.
My name.
It's on the caption, you can see it there, look.
Yes, well, perhaps, Mr. X, we could talk a little bit about your particular sexual desires.
Yeah, well, if I could start by saying that I see sex as a journey through life to discover who I really am.
You're Mark Austin, we already know that.
Is it straight sex that you're into?
No.
Is it sadomasochism in any way?
No.
Does it involve vegetables at all?
Yes, that applause from the audience there telling you that vegetables are some part of it.
Am I not turning my sexual proclivities into some sort of game show?
All right, let's move on and meet some of our other guests. Now, over here we have...
Linda Fox.
Linda Fox, yes, and you, of course, were Miss Playboy of 1979 and the star of such sex films as Deep Lobe.
No. I'm the Labour MP for Birmingham South.
Right, okay. Well, next to me we have our resident agony aunt, Anna Rabies.
Hi.
Hi. Nice to see you back again after the little problem with the old varicose veins.
Okay, so I had varicose veins, so what? Let's get going.
So, okay now, Anna, legs apart.
What?
I mean, apart from the problem with the...
Yes, yeah, come on.
Right, well, over here we have Mandy Stringer. Now, Mandy, what exactly is it that you do?
I sleep with men for money.
You're a prostitute.
How dare you! I've been so insulted in all my life.
I thought that was just a definition of...
Outrageous!
No, I'm sorry. Right. Well, let's move on then and meet our final guest, who is...
Sir Anthony Trollope, Junior Minister for Energy.
Right, and you've come to talk about the by-election.
No, I'm quite happy talking about sex, thank you. Sleeping with men, then. How much do you...
Right. More on that a bit later, perhaps. But first, let's take a break.
So cheaper than Pamela, then?
Out now on KYTV Records, Neil Young's tribute to Betty Boo. Betty Boo, Neil Young, who hasn't been in the charts for 10 years, pays tribute to someone who's rarely out of them.
Where are you, baby?
brought you classic hits of the 60s, such as After the Gold Rush and Heart of Gold. Now comes a collection of classics of the 90s. Plus, on the same great album, Sting pays tribute to Bart Simpson. Do the Bartman! All this and more for just $14.99. Out now.
Hello, darling. Have you had a lovely time? It was all right.
New from Matthew Bernard's. Scrumptious scout legs.
Go on. Talking to a toggle.
And also new from Matthew Bernard's Scout Range, battered balls.
Are the real gingang ghoulies.
Welcome back. We're Talking Head with Mandy Stringer, Anna Rabies, and Mark Austin, who is a sexual pervert.
I am not a sexual pervert.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't know what you would call sticking asparagus up your nether regions, but pervert will do for me.
I nearly got it, but I said turn it.
Perhaps we could start by looking at what different people regard as normal in sex.
Well, let me start by saying that research shows that the average man makes love 3 times a night.
3 times a night?
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
And the average man apparently thinks about sex every 20 seconds.
Good Lord. Would you regard that as normal, Sir Anthony?
Sorry, I was miles away.
Would you regard your sex life as normal?
Well, I think my wife and I have a perfectly normal relationship with people of our age. We both undress in the dark, and then I put on her clothes and go downstairs and scrub the floor while she spanks me with a fly swat. That's pretty normal, I would have thought.
Yes, tonight at 10, it's an adapted sex quiz.
That's a good one. Okay, time's up.
Right, well, this is quite good. I think this leg would get in the way, and I think this foot will probably go to sleep after the first 5 minutes. I'll give him 7.
7? What about the dolphins? You have 2 minutes starting from now. Okay, you have a choice of categories, history or sex.
Oh, history, I think, please, Anna.
Right. In what year did you first have sex? The revolving carrot.
That's an adapted sex quiz tonight at 10 on KYTV.
The photograph of Rob Lowe.
What about sexual fantasies? Mandy, do you have any sexual fantasies?
Yes. I have a fantasy that I'm riding on horseback with 2 men, and we're being pursued by a posse of other men on horseback, but we escape over the border into Bolivia, and we're all holed up in this barn, and then the 2 men make a run for it and get shot down in the doorway.
Yes.
And then it all ends on freeze frame and turns into sepia.
Yes, this is the plot of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yes, but the 2 men aren't Robert Redford and Paul Newman.
Who are they?
They're Douglas Hurd and Kenneth Baker.
Well, that brings us on very neatly to the subject of masochism. Mark, is masochism something you've tried?
Well, I tried it once, but I didn't like it.
So it worked for you then?
Yes, super. Yeah.
Great. Sadomasochism, or S&M as it's called, is becoming ever more popular. We recently paid a visit to an S&M retreat, and I should warn you that 1 or 2 viewers may find these scenes of ritual self-abasement and degradation disturbingly stimulating.
Yeah, they've been coming down my farm for a few years now. They're completely bonkers. They do all the dirty jobs and they pay me for the privilege. Come on.
talking head. Get down.
Well, I think we're now ready to go over to Thodding. So, Ray Yardley. Oh, no, I'm sorry, we're not ready to go over to Thodding. I'm sorry about that. So let's change the subject and talk about penile obsession and cross-dressing. Ray Yardley, do you have any views on penile obsession?
Certainly not. I'm a politician.
Right. And cross-dressing?
Well, I think that's perfectly acceptable.
Right. Mark, any penile obsession?
Well, I've always had a thing about castration, and any reference to it makes me go completely...
Well, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off there. Because it is indeed time now to go over to Thodding and our man Mike Channell, who is waiting for us at the count, which is taking place in the Thodding Infant School Hall. Now, I gather we have the result of our first exit poll, Mike.
Well, the first result of our exit poll is from a Mrs. Eileen Simpkin of Thodding, who said that she voted Conservative. So taking that as our basic premise, if that trend is reflected in the rest of the constituency, it would mean a landslide victory for the Tories, with none of the other parties getting any votes at all. And on a national scale, a majority at the next election for the Conservative Party of some 650 seats to none, which, if we project this into the future, would last forever.
Old Chinese proverb, Confucius, he said, never talk with mouth full unless you're talking head.
So, Anna, in your recent erudite and definitive guide to sexual mores, a guide to shagging, you argue that women should be more assertive and take the lead in sexual relationships.
Right, well, I think we can learn a lot from nature. I mean, look at the widow spider. Now, the female there very much takes the initiative.
Well, insofar as she eats her mate.
Quite.
Well, surely not suggesting we should go around eating each other after intercourse.
Get rid of a lot of problems between husbands and wives.
Well, get rid of a lot of husbands.
Nature is how God intended it to be.
Oh, good. Well, I'll go sniffing around the bar afterwards for any female that's on heat, then.
So no change there, then.
Right. Well, perhaps we could turn to another aspect of your book, which is rather interesting, sex in the cinema. Mandy.
Oh, personally, I've always found it rather uncomfortable because the armrests really sort of tend to dig in your ribs.
Yes. I was rather more thinking of sex on the screen.
Well, get in the way of people watching the picture, I would have thought.
Yes. Does anyone else think there's too much sex in the cinema?
Well, if it's done tastefully and artistically and there's no attempt to offend or shock, then personally, I find it rather dull. I mean, much better to get the camera right up in between.
Good. Yes, well, Anna Dapter now reports for us on the making of a pornographic film.
Well, I've come to the set of a pornographic film currently being shot by KYTV's daily adult nude channel, Dank, just the other side of this wall.
I promise it won't hurt.
The film the producers prefer to describe as erotic rather than pornographic deals with sex in a frank but artistic manner.
Need more semolina. Already?
The film contains a number of unusual scenes and deals with a woman's internal awakening at the hands of her spiritual leader. Various twists and turns.
It doesn't fit.
But eventually, the woman played by actress, dancer, model, Spanky Reynolds, comes to know herself in both a physical and metaphysical sense.
Okay.
Spanky wants very much to be taken seriously and regards her work as something deeply individual and creative. This particular film is called Up Your Jacket and is directed by American Whit Hankey. And you'll be able to see it on Dank early in the new year.
We'll have to go again. There's air in the gate.
So take a bow, dear old KY, you're looking swell to me.
Anna Rabies, body language plays an important part in sex, doesn't it? How can you tell when a man is feeling sexually insecure?
Well, men can manifest their problems in many ways. Pointing with a pencil, for instance, is a good indication that he feels unhappy about the size of his penis and is subconsciously searching and reaching for some sort of extension.
Mark?
No, I disagree here. I think someone who uses their hands to emphasise what they're saying is actually showing confidence in their masculinity. And in fact, the larger the object, the better endowed he feels he is.
So what makes a man attractive to you, Mandy?
Oh, well, personally, I'm a sucker for a man who's got power, money, influence.
Yes, I was talking to President Bush about this the other day when I picked him up in my private helicopter, and George said to me, Toby...
And a cute little bum.
What a cute little bum you've got, he said.
So, what do you think is the difference, Mandy, between male and female sexuality?
Well, I think men, by and large, tend to get turned on by looks. You know, girls with short skirts, big boobs, loads of makeup. Whereas women don't go for that sort of thing at all.
Yes.
They tend to go for men, by and large.
Well, it's an unusual viewpoint. Mandy, stay with us. Minister, how do you react?
I get a small rash just above...
To the question of male and female sexuality.
Well, I think men's desires generally concentrate on the whole, whereas women's...
Yes, I think perhaps we can return to the by-election briefly and take a closer look at the way the campaign has been fought down there in Thodding.
Thodding has seen many changes. Today it's a bustling market town in the middle of Gloucestershire. But only a few years ago, it was a sleepy harbour in Cornwall. In the last election, they bucked the national trend and returned a Labour candidate, saying they didn't think much of him and could they please have another one. The present campaign has been marred by allegations concerning the Tory candidate's campaign methods.
And what's this delightful little chappie called?
Oh, Simon.
I trust you'll be voting for me on Thursday?
Oh, I always vote Labour.
Oh. Well, I mustn't keep you. Doubtless you've got to get him back to the zoo by 5 o'clock.
The Labour candidate, Brian Tupp, has had some problems on account of his name.
So, remember, V-Top, your Labour candidate. V-Top, your...
And the Liberal Democrats campaign has been notable for meticulously tracking down every last voter in Thodding.
Not see one of our manifestos, sir.
But all eyes of the country are on Thodding tonight. And many are thinking that if what the men and women of Thodding do tonight is repeated across the country, then there could be quite a few prosecutions under the Sexual Offences Act.
On the by-election results, as and when they come in, of course, and their electoral and parliamentary significance for the future. But in the meantime, let's have a look at some condoms. Anna.
I've got a number of examples of various sheaths here. This one is designed to be extra strong with a delay action. It's anti-allergy ribbed and electronically tested.
Yes, this is sooty, isn't it? I mean, look, he's even got his little wand with him.
Oh, that's medically proved to increase arousal.
Well, I'm sorry, I shan't be shaking hands with Matthew Corbett in a hurry. What else have you got?
Well, there's a delay spray for the man who climaxes too easily.
Yes, I see it also removes lime scare. That should delay him. And what's this? Some sort of penis enlarger?
I know those are my hair colours.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And there are a number of guides available.
Yes. I think that's the wrong way up, actually, Sir Anthony.
Oh, right. Ah, yes. There's Cornwall.
So, Mark, how does being perverted affect...
No, I'm sorry, I'm not perverted. Can we just clear this up now?
I'm sorry. So, how does being a bit abnormal in the fetish department...
I'm not abnormal either.
Okay, so how does having certain tendencies...
Yes.
Certain unusual preferences...
Yes.
How does sleeping with animals affect you? So, Mandy, what are these services you offer?
Well, I do manual, oral, VIP, and cabinet minister.
And that's full sex, is it?
VIP is, yes.
And what's cabinet minister?
That's full sex plus having his child and selling the story to the Sunday papers.
Right. Well, many politicians have become involved in scandals because of their sexual kinks, as this piece of film shows. I'm terribly sorry. I think we have the wrong piece of film there. That was actually the former deputy chairman of the Conservative Party canvassing down in Thodding, and definitely not a well-known person whose sexual kink has led to scandal. Sorry about that. Suburban brothels like Cynthia Payne's in Streatham have recently flourished. Mike Channell and Martin Brown took a fly-on-the-wall camera team down to investigate.
Going in. Rung the bell.
Hello.
You've come to the party, have you?
That's right.
Come in. It's nice to have another couple of gentlemen. Shall I take your coat?
No. Fine, thanks. We'll hang them up ourselves.
In here when you're ready.
Right. Here we go. This is number 23.
No, you want the brothel next door.
Right. Oh dear. Embarrassing.
So, what are the ways we can overcome sexual ignorance?
Well, communication is important. I mean, people must talk to each other. I bet you didn't talk to your wife last time you made love.
Certainly not. She didn't want to be woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning by a phone call from you.
So is a desire for sex the sign of an addictive personality? Mark, yes, you'd like to come in here.
I need some glue.
And glue sniffing, like sex, is an addiction for you?
No, it's just I think my beard's coming unstuck.
Right. Well, does the need for sex override all other considerations? I mean, should a man, for instance, expect his wife to make love to him when she's pregnant?
Yeah, well, there's a great deal of ignorance about this. I don't think it's a good idea at all.
You think it's, yes, potentially harmful?
Absolutely. Might get bitten by the baby.
Well, I understand we can now go over to the returning officer, but it would be a complete waste of time as the result's still not decided. So instead, let's turn from elections to erections again and welcome our resident doctor.
Good evening.
Who, together with our caring agony aunt, Anna Rabies,
Hi.
is here in the studio ready to answer your calls if you have any personal, emotional or sexual problems. So give us a ring now on this number.
0898654 080.
That number once again.
0800009 00.
Well, our first caller is on the line. I understand that it's a Dorothy of Clapham Manor.
Hello, Dottie. What's your particular personal problem?
I wonder if you can help me, Anna. I'm really at the end of my tether.
Well, that's what I'm here for, lovey. Fire away.
Well, it's my husband. He's having an affair with this other woman, you see, Anna.
Dorothy, if I could just come in
Oh,
here...
do be quiet, for goodness sakes. Let her go on. Go on, love.
Well, every time I try to talk to him about it, he starts threatening to walk out and leave me. I don't know what to do.
Well, you must do the only thing you can do, lovey, and that's to go up to him and ask him quite openly if he's seeing another woman. And if he admits it, then you'll just have to face facts, lovey. And my advice to you in that situation would be to kill him.
Oh, thank you, Anna.
Not at all, lovey. That's what we're here for. Next.
Hello, Anna.
Hello, caller. How can I help you?
Oh, well, I've been married for 3 years.
Yes, well, 3 years is a particularly...
Oh, do shut up, for goodness sakes. Let him go on. Go on, love.
Well, my problem is that I'm impotent.
Yep. Yep, you do have a problem, don't you? Next.
Hello, Anna. It's about my boyfriend.
Oh, the bastard, what's he done?
Pardon?
What's he done now?
He wants to get engaged.
Kill him! Blow his brains out!
No, I want to get engaged too.
Well, marry him then.
Sorry?
Sleep with him. Marry him, then sleep with him. No, sleep with him, then marry him. Premarital sex. You've got to come to terms with the fact you're a woman now.
I'm only 14.
What?
We can't get engaged because we're both 14 and our parents won't allow
Well,
it.
kill him! Kill them all! Sleep with them, then kill him. Pre-patricidal sex. No. Kill them, then sleep with them. Necrophilia, nothing wrong with it. You've got to come to terms with it sooner or later. We all have our own lives to live, and if that means having to murder Mummy and Daddy in cold blood, then we just have to face facts. I know it's not easy, but then life never is. Thanks for your call, Doctor.
Yes.
Piss off! Next call on the line, I believe is Beatrix from Hounslow.
Hello, Anna. It's about my dog, Anna.
Kill it!
What?
Look, you can't keep animals in this world if your marriage is on the rocks.
But my marriage isn't on the rocks. I'm not even married.
Well, what are you wasting my time for, then?
Well, my dog's very ill.
Well, kill it.
But I love it.
Well, marry it, then. Sleep with it. Look, one, you've got to come to terms with your abnormal sexuality sometime. Two, you must simply tell the dog that the relationship cannot exist unless you get your oats. I understand perfectly, caller. There's no need to feel ashamed about your abnormal sexual fantasies. I believe it can be very pleasurable for the dog, too. Thanks for your call.
Yes, well, that's where I'm going to have to stop you for now, Anna. Thank God. As we're rapidly running out of time, Anna and the doc will be back at the same time next week to answer your calls. So if you want to ring in with any personal problems then, I'd be amazed. Well, great anticipation of the by-election results here, and I understand the returning officer has now returned to the bar, so still not quite ready. Ray Yardley, who do you think is going to win?
Oh, well, I think it's
Come
fair.
on, surely there's more to sex than worrying about who's going to win the by-election.
Yes, I don't think anybody would disagree with that, Hannah, but we're not actually talking about sex now. Ray.
No, well, I've been out on the stump, and I think...
Sorry, Ray, I said we weren't actually talking about sex.
I'm talking about campaigning.
Oh, I'm sorry, right.
Yes. Well, I'm confident that my member will come from behind.
Still not on about sex?
No.
Good, okay, all right, Sir Anthony.
Yes, well, just before this by-election, I was reluctantly whipped through the lobbies.
Yes, now you are talking about sex, aren't
Yes,
you?
I am,
I
yes.
thought you were. Perhaps you could instead concentrate on the by-election. Ray Yardley, what's your opinion of the opinion poll which shows that your party is lagging behind with 4.5%.
No, well, you can't take these polls seriously. I mean, they're hastily compiled and wildly inaccurate.
Oh, I'm sorry, that should have actually been 45%, which would, of course, meant they were ahead.
Well, as I say, they're an excellent guideline and entirely trustworthy.
Right. Linda Fox, any thoughts?
Concerning?
Yes, any concerning thoughts?
No.
No, so not concerned at all. Smashing. Sir Anthony, how do you feel?
Fine, slight snuffle, nothing...
Yes,
serious.
about the by-election.
Well, I think sometimes it's not a bad idea, you know, to stop and think.
Good. Well, just while you're doing that, let me just turn to Mark and ask, could I have my shoe back, please? Thank you very much. Let's now hear how some of the voters of Thodding felt today. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir, who did you vote for today?
Oh, Conservative.
Why was that?
Well, my mother and father voted Conservative, and my grandparents before them.
Good Lord, how long ago was that?
Oh, about 9:30 this morning, I think. Let's go and ask them. Mum, Dad?
Excuse me, madam. I'm asking people how they voted today.
Oh, yes. How's it going, then?
Fine.
Oh, good. Good?
Yes. Excuse me, sir, can I ask who you voted for?
Yeah. I just voted Tory, yeah, because I believe in the abolition of the public school systems, the removal of nuclear weapons from Great Britain, and the renationalisation of state industries being hived off to the private enterprise, you know, yeah.
Yes, I think you'll find that's Labour Party policy, in fact.
Is it?
Yes.
Ah.
Here it comes. Well, still no news of the by-election result, so let's instead turn to the subject of vaginal dryness. Sir Anthony. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I gather we can now go back to Thodding, where the returning officer is just taking the stage.
And I believe the returning officer is ready. Quiet, please. The returning officer calling for quiet.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please.
The returning officer still calling for quiet.
Quiet, please. Will somebody please stop that music?
And the Lady Mayor coming to the assistance of the returning officer, taking up his own Walkman. And so here at last is the result of the Thodding by-election.
As returning officer for the constituency of Brecon and Radnor, I hereby give notice that I've come to the wrong place.
So, an interesting development there. The wrong returning officer. So, while we're waiting for the right returning officer to be found, obviously bound to be some delay, let's take a commercial break. If you are going away on holiday, close your windows, lock your doors, and tell a neighbour that you're going away. Don't leave your windows wide open. Order twice as much milk as you normally do. And drape a large banner across the roof saying, "We have gone away for a fortnight."
That was yet another paralyzingly obvious public information.
Do you suffer from bad breath? Then your problem days are over with new Quilly's lozenges. Try them. When you're feeling down in the mouth, suck Quiddies. Well, welcome back with the news that during the commercial break, the result was in fact announced. Sorry, we missed it. So there you have it. That just about concludes our coverage of the by-election. But if I can just turn to a representative of the winning party. Mandy, congratulations.
Ta.
A sweeping victory for the Free Love Alliance and Lashings of Sex Party.
See you Tuesday.
Usual time?
Yeah.
Smashing. And a reminder that next week Anna and the Doc will be looking at a number of rather unusual photographs recently imported from Sweden, which means there won't be another programme for a fortnight. See you then for Talking Head. Good night.
We would like to apologise for our news item earlier this evening where we referred to the loss of lift following a fire in a London hotel. This should, of course, have read loss of life. Sorry about that. And we hope it didn't spoil your enjoyment of the news. If you want information about the accident, then the number to ring is 071 515